Multidimensional chosen ones. Only you can access these 7 superpowers. There will come a moment in your life when everything you've known begins to feel too small. The systems, the identities, the labels, they all start to crumble. Not because you're breaking down, but because something inside you is breaking open. That's the moment the world begins to whisper to you in a language you've always known but forgotten. That's the moment you begin to remember that you're not here to be ordinary. You're not here to blend in. You're not here to merely survive. You are here because you are one of the multidimensional chosen ones. And only those like you can access these 7 superpowers that are hidden from the rest of the world. This isn't mythology. This isn't fantasy. This is the deepest truth that's been buried beneath layers of programming, trauma, and distraction. You've always been different. Maybe you knew it when you were a child, sensing things others couldn't. Maybe you knew it when you walked into rooms and immediately felt the emotional undercurrents before a single word was spoken. Maybe you've always had vivid dreams, déjà vu, or a feeling that you've lived many lives. These aren't coincidences. They're clues. Clues that you're operating on multiple dimensions at once, even if you weren't conscious of it.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
The first superpower you begin to awaken is energetic perception. This isn't just intuition, it's the ability to feel truth in your body before it manifests. You can sense when someone is lying, even if they're smiling. You can feel when a space is charged, sacred, or dense. You may not have words for it, but your body responds like an antenna, picking up frequencies others are blind to. This superpower is subtle but revolutionary. It allows you to move through life guided not by logic, but by alignment. Can you imagine how powerful that is? To make decisions not based on fear, but on vibrational truth. That's what the chosen ones are here to master. But with perception comes the second superpower, energetic influence. Once you become aware of your own energy field, you begin to realize you can influence the fields around you. You've seen it happen without understanding it. People feel better after talking to you. Strangers open up to you. Children and animals trust you instantly. You walk into a room and it shifts. This isn't random. Your field is broadcasting at a higher frequency, whether you know it or not. And when you learn how to harness that field through breath, intention, meditation, and presence, you become a living transmitter of healing, a walking portal. That's not an exaggeration. That's your birthright. But this path isn't always light. The third superpower you unlock is shadow integration. The chosen ones are not those who bypass pain or float in love and light bubbles. No, we are the ones who carry the codes for transmutation. We are the ones who descend into the darkness not to suffer, but to alchemize. Every trauma you've endured, every wound you felt, it wasn't punishment. It was preparation. You've been trained by life to hold space for the deepest pain, because you're meant to show others how to rise from it. You don't just heal yourself, you heal lineages. You shift timelines. That is a power most don't even dare to claim, but it's real, and it's yours. As you begin to alchemize your shadow, you unlock the fourth superpower, dimensional memory. This is when you begin to remember who you are beyond this single lifetime. Flashes of other lives, familiar strangers, ancient symbols that stir something in your soul. You realize that your intuition isn't just a feeling, it's experience. You've done this before, you've been here before, and that knowing becomes your compass. You stop needing external validation because you remember what truth feels like. You begin to reclaim gifts from other timelines, healing, clairvoyance, sacred knowledge, and bring them into the now. You're not learning, you're remembering. But to fully walk this path, you must awaken the fifth superpower, emotional mastery. This is not about suppressing what you feel. It's about becoming the conscious conductor of your emotional field. When you feel grief, you don't drown in it, you let it move. When you feel joy, you don't cling to it, you amplify it. You stop being a victim of your emotions and become the sourcer of them. This is critical, because as the world becomes more energetically chaotic, your ability to regulate and radiate coherence becomes a beacon. You become the calm in the storm. That's not just powerful, that's sacred. Then comes the sixth superpower, telepathic resonance. This is when communication becomes less about words and more about vibration. You begin to feel what someone means before they speak. You connect with others across distance, across time, even across dimensions. Your dreams become messages. Your thoughts begin to manifest. You think of someone and they call. You write something in your journal and watch it come true. This is not imagination. This is the quantum field responding to your frequency. And when you learn to speak not just with your voice, but with your energy, you become unstoppable. And finally, the seventh superpower, reality bending. This is the ability to influence time, space, and probability by aligning with a higher timeline. This isn't about manipulating life. It's about aligning so deeply with your soul's frequency that the universe reorganizes itself around your truth. You begin to experience synchronicity as a daily language. You make decisions that defy logic but lead to miracles. You feel the future before it arrives and prepare for it. You begin to bend reality not by force but by resonance. This is the ultimate mastery. And only those who walk the multidimensional path with humility and wisdom can hold this power without being consumed by it. So I ask you now, have you felt these powers stirring within you? Have you brushed them off as coincidence? Or have you dared to believe that you are more than what they told you? What would happen if you fully surrendered to your multidimensional nature? If you stopped hiding your gifts? If you stopped shrinking to make others comfortable? Because the truth is, the world is starving for the light you've been hiding. And now is the time to rise. Not just for yourself, but for all of us. Unlocking the hidden realms, how the multidimensional chosen ones travel between worlds without leaving the body. There's a moment when the veil thins not because the world has changed, but because you have. You begin to notice the subtle spaces between what's visible and what's real. The quiet pulses of energy behind ordinary things. The way time bends during deep meditation, or how dreams begin to feel more real than waking life. These are not hallucinations. They are signs that you, as a multidimensional chosen one, are awakening your ability to travel between worlds without ever needing to leave your body. This isn't astral projection, although that may be part of it. This isn't just lucid dreaming, telepathy, or intuition. This is the full activation of your soul's multidimensional intelligence. You are no longer limited to this single plane of existence because your consciousness has begun to expand beyond linearity. And what's most powerful about this isn't the escape from the physical, it's the integration of it. You're learning how to anchor higher realms into this one. You stop looking to go somewhere else and begin to realize you already are everywhere. You feel it when you close your eyes and suddenly find yourself standing in a temple you've never visited in this lifetime, but somehow know intimately. You feel it when you have a conversation with someone, and there's a pause, and in that pause, a download happens. A silent knowing exchanged in seconds, without words. You feel it when you walk into nature and time dissolves, and you remember what it means to be part of the whole, not separate from it. These are experiences of multidimensional presence. You are living in multiple timelines simultaneously, past, future, parallel, and your body is the bridge. Your awareness is the key. But to unlock these realms, there's a requirement. You must deconstruct the illusion of separation, the illusion that your body is simply flesh and bone, the illusion that your thoughts are private, the illusion that your soul is stuck in a single incarnation. That's the programming designed to keep you small, controllable, and disconnected from your true power. You have to be willing to break that illusion gently, but completely. You have to become curious again. You have to question what's real, not with suspicion, but with wonder. What if your memories of distant galaxies are not imagination but actual remnants of soul travel? What if your connection to certain people is not random, but the continuation of old soul contracts? When you begin to trust the language of energy, the other worlds start revealing themselves. You begin to notice the synchronicities that aren't just cute moments but actual breadcrumbs left by your higher self. You have visions that feel more like memories. You start to feel the presence of guides, not as external voices but as inner wisdom. And then something radical happens. You stop searching for portals and realize you are the portal. Your breath, your stillness, your heart coherence, they become the access points to other dimensions. You don't need to chant in caves or spend years in isolation to reach this state. You need to become deeply present, because in presence time collapses, and when time collapses, you gain access to everything. That's why the chosen ones are often pulled into deep stillness, silence, or solitude, not because they are being punished, but because the noise of the world would drown out the multidimensional music they're meant to hear. And that music is everywhere. It's encoded in your DNA. It's woven into your emotions. It pulses through your cells, waiting for you to slow down enough to listen. But this journey also requires energetic integrity. You can't travel realms with a chaotic field. You can't receive higher guidance if your frequency is clouded by unprocessed emotion, constant distraction, or egoic noise. This is why so many chosen ones are forced into spiritual purification, not because they're unworthy, but because their vessel must be clear. I think of it like tuning a radio. If your dial is full of static, you'll miss the message. But when you align, when you breathe deeply, ground your body, open your heart, you begin to tune into the broadcasts from beyond the veil. And they're always broadcasting. You just weren't listening yet. So the question becomes, can you hold the paradox? Can you be fully human and fully cosmic at the same time? Can you cook dinner while receiving downloads from your higher self? Can you sit in traffic and still feel the presence of your guides? And can you treat your everyday life as the sacred ceremony that it actually is? Because that's what multidimensional mastery looks like, not escaping life, but infusing it with the divine. That's when the magic becomes real. That's when you stop waiting for miracles and realize you are the miracle. You don't need to leave your body to travel. You need to enter it more fully, because your body is a living antenna, a gateway to infinite realities, a sacred container built to hold something eternal. So enter it, honor it, activate it. Let it become the vessel through which other worlds are revealed. The sacred frequency, how multidimensional chosen ones transmit energy that alters reality. There's an invisible current running through you, and when you finally tune into it, everything begins to shift. This current is not metaphorical. It's energetic. It's vibrational. It's real. And when you're truly aligned with it, your very presence becomes a transmitter. You don't just walk through the world, you alter it. You carry a sacred frequency, and that frequency is not random. It's encoded with memory, intention, soul design, and divine intelligence. The moment you accept that, you stop trying to force change externally and begin to radiate change from the inside out. This is what most people don't realize about the chosen ones. We're not here to convince. We're not here to argue. We're not here to fight. We're here to transmit. To hold a frequency so coherent, so anchored in truth, that everything not in resonance with it begins to shift or fall away. That's the true power of the multidimensional path. It's not about how loud your voice is. It's about the clarity of your vibration. People feel you before they hear you. Spaces change when you enter them, not because you're special, but because you're aligned. And the frequency you carry, it's not something you found. It's something you remembered. It lives in your breath, your silence, your intention. You activate it when you choose authenticity over approval, when you speak truth even if your voice shakes, when you stop reacting from fear and start responding from presence. Every time you choose love over ego, your field becomes more coherent. Every time you forgive instead of resent, your frequency sharpens. And as your frequency sharpens, your impact deepens, not because you're doing more, but because you're being more. You begin to notice that your words carry weight, that your presence soothes people without explanation, that your silence speaks more clearly than noise. That's not magic, it's resonance. You've become a tuning fork for higher consciousness. And those who are ready will feel it. They won't even know why they feel safe with you or why they're drawn to you. But they'll feel it, because energy doesn't lie. And when your energy is pure, it bypasses the mind and speaks directly to the soul. But here's the deeper layer: your frequency doesn't just affect people, it affects reality itself. You start to notice that synchronicities multiply around you, that ideas become tangible outcomes faster, that opportunities arise not from hustle, but from alignment. Your energy becomes a magnet, not because you're trying to manifest, but because you are the manifestation. You're vibrating at a level that commands the quantum field to respond. That's not spiritual hype. That's physics. Reality bends around coherence, and the more coherent you are, the more fluid your reality becomes. This is why emotional regulation is sacred, not because you're trying to be high vibe all the time, but because your emotions affect your field, and your field is constantly creating. If you're living in chronic fear, resentment, or shame, you're sending mixed signals into the field. But when you clear those distortions, not by suppressing them, but by feeling and integrating them, you return to your natural rhythm. And your natural rhythm is divine. It's not something you have to create, it's something you uncover. Your sacred frequency grows stronger in silence, in stillness, in devotion, in ritual, in the moments when no one is watching and you choose to stay soft when it would be easier to harden. You strengthen it by choosing presence over distraction, by choosing depth over performance. And in doing so, you become a living embodiment of the new earth, an anchor point for higher timelines. You're not just influencing people. You're influencing the grid. You're part of a global network of souls awakening to their frequency. And together, we're creating a field so powerful that the old systems can't survive it. But be aware, this frequency will challenge everything that's not in alignment. It will trigger those who are still clinging to illusion. It will dismantle relationships built on inauthenticity. It will collapse identities that were never yours to begin with. This is not a punishment. This is purification. Your frequency isn't here to make you comfortable. It's here to make you true. And sometimes truth requires loss. It requires solitude. It requires walking away from what once felt like home so that you can finally become home. So I ask you, what frequency are you carrying right now? Is it coherent with who you truly are, or is it distorted by who you think you need to be? Are you transmitting from your soul or from your wounds? Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs resonance. It needs you. Fully attuned, fully alive, fully willing to embody the sacred code within you. And when you do, reality won't just shift for you. It will shift because of you. The final activation: why your superpowers were hidden and why the world needs them now. There's a reason you didn't awaken earlier. A reason your superpowers have been dormant, buried beneath layers of doubt, trauma, and conditioning. You were never broken, you were hidden. Hidden in plain sight. Hidden not because you weren't ready, but because the world wasn't. Because your light, if fully activated before its time, would have burned through the illusions too fast, too bright, too soon. You've always had the codes, you've always had the gifts, but they were sealed not as punishment, but as protection. You see, true power is not given to those who seek it for validation. It is revealed to those who are willing to carry it with humility. And that's what your journey has been. Every heartbreak, every moment of silence, every dark night of the soul, it wasn't to break you. It was to purify you, to strip away everything false so that only what is real could remain. Because only the real you can hold the real power, not the mask, not the performance. Just you, raw, honest, awake. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to be another echo in the noise. You are the anomaly, the glitch in the matrix, the soul that remembers what others forget, and that remembrance is your greatest weapon. But it's not a weapon of destruction. It's a weapon of illumination. You don't destroy the old world by fighting it. You dissolve it by radiating the frequency of a new one. That's why you're here. That's why your powers are returning now. Because the world is on the edge. The collective is reaching a tipping point. Systems are collapsing. Truths are surfacing. People are waking up, but they don't know how to navigate the chaos. That's where you come in. Not as a savior, not as a guru, but as a mirror, as a resonator, as a reminder that the divine lives within them too. Your superpowers are not for show. They are not for ego. They are for service. And the service begins when you stop hiding. You feel it now, don't you? That quiet pull in your chest. That knowing that your time has come. You've seen the signs. The synchronicities that are too precise to ignore. The dreams that feel like previews. The people you've been magnetizing who speak your soul's language without needing to explain it. This is not coincidence. This is activation. This is the final unlocking of what you came here to be. And it won't look like anyone else's journey for a reason. Because you carry a unique frequency that no one else can replicate. A tone in the cosmic symphony that only you are designed to play. If you don't play it, the song is incomplete. That's how important you are. That's how critical your path is. And the beauty of it is, you don't need to try to be powerful. You already are. You don't need to earn your gifts. You only need to remember them. So how do you begin now, after all this time? You begin by choosing. Choosing to believe that your sensitivity is strength, that your visions are real, that your presence changes rooms, that your path is sacred even when it's misunderstood. You begin by trusting the subtle nudges, the urge to meditate, to speak truth, to create, to move, to rest. These are not random. These are instructions from your multidimensional self. Are you listening? The world doesn't need more followers. It needs awakened architects of frequency. It needs those who have walked through fire and emerged unburned. It needs those who remember how to weep and how to rise. Those who can hold paradox, who can speak with silence, who can bring heaven to earth not as a theory, but as a lived experience. And that's you. That's us. That's why we're here. There will be moments when you still feel small, when doubt creeps in, when your human self questions whether any of this is real. Let it. Let the doubt refine you. Let it challenge you to return to your truth again and again until it becomes unshakable. Because that's the final test, not whether you can access your powers, but whether you can embody them in a world that has forgotten its own magic. So I ask you, the way only a fellow traveler can, are you ready to stop waiting for permission? Are you ready to stop apologizing for your light? Are you ready to use the gifts encoded in your soul not someday, but now? Because now is the moment you incarnated for. Now is when your frequency is needed most. Now is when the veil is thinnest, the energy is fastest, and the call is loudest. The final activation isn't coming from outside you. It's emerging from within you. And it begins the moment you say yes. Say yes to your power. Say yes to your path. Say yes to the version of you that remembers why you chose to come here in the first place. Because only you can access these 7 superpowers, and only you can decide what you'll do with them now.